Welcome to refurbishing an old Mamod steam wagon. This one's part 3. Straightening out the bent port face, trying a stronger Trunnion Pin Spring and running the model under steam. Since I first started this short series, I've decided not to do too much at it cosmetically. I want it to remain the same as it was when I bought it off my late friend. But that does not mean that I can't remove the rust on the connecting rod. The whole point of this series is to show how to make this Mamod steam engine run properly, because currently it does not run properly at all. I'm cleaning the piston rod or connecting rod, whatever you want to call it, with a piece of Scotch-Brite. Nothing difficult there. One of the reasons why this engine doesn't run very well at all is because of the cylinder. The port face is marked, and here I'm removing the marks with a piece of 400 grit wet or dry sandpaper, which is resting on a steel rule. That's nice and flat. And in no time at all, the port face of the cylinder was also flat. Here are all the parts plus an extra spring in a small plastic box, and now I'm going to take this down to the other workshop which is built onto the house. In this clip you can see just how flat the port of the cylinder is now. I'm applying some oil so I don't scratch it, and I'm trying a new spring. It's a stronger spring. But a word of caution, this spring is far too strong. I put it all together and tried it, but it didn't run very well. That's why I decided to refit the original spring, which is quite weak, but theoretically, when everything is okay, it should do the job. When I turn on the compressed air supply, and there's only about 10 pounds per square inch here, it seems to work, but the reversing lever wobbles about a bit. Why is this, you may be thinking? Obviously, the spring isn't strong enough to hold it in position, but no, this is not the reason. The problem is that the port face on the main frame that holds the crankshaft is twisted and bent. This has been caused by removal of the piston without slackening off the trunnion pin, which holds the oscillating cylinder in place. If you look closely at this image, you can see that the front of it is clearly bent. And this is where the compressed air is leaking from, so it's not running the engine. The answer is to steam the engine, and I'll be able to see the steam leaking where the framework is bent. Leaking steam, or should I say water vapour, is visible, but compressed air is not. I bought some of these, waxed solid fuel tablets. They used to be called meter, and they weren't waxed and they smelt horrible. I'll see what these are like. The fuel tablets I used to use were square and smaller than this. As per the instructions on the box, I'm not stacking them. I'm only using 2. They're now lit and inside the firebox. It's been a long time since I've used solid fuel tablets, and they have got better. These are giving off quite a lot of heat. This is just me being optimistic and impatient. I had to wait a while, so I removed the body and put it over the other side. Surprisingly, I didn't have long to wait. If you look now, you can see there is steam escaping, and it's escaping from the port face, which, as I've already mentioned, is quite badly bent. I know, I'll try the whistle and see how much pressure there is. This shows that I was actually putting too much air pressure into the boiler. Now the whistle does actually whistle. I can't really show this bit. I'm having to use a small pair of pliers to just straighten the port face. I would just like to mention though that you have to straighten the port face at the top and the bottom with the reversing lever in different positions. After making further slight adjustments, the engine started to run properly, and here it is running down the bench. There's still a bit of a leak around the cylinder, but most of that's coming from the piston fit. It's time now for a serious health and safety warning. The intermediate drive shaft runs through the fire. So when there's a fire in the firebox, this intermediate drive pulley gets extremely hot. I wondered why the paint was blistered. The steamroller and traction engine models also have the rear axle through the firebox, but because the wheels are bigger, they do get hot, but they're tolerable. If you touch this wheel though, the intermediate drive pulley, you get badly burnt. Here I'm checking the limited speed control of the reversing lever, and as you can see, it's working much better than it did. It's not dancing about quite so much. It still isn't perfect in reverse, but I'm not bothered about that. Who runs these in reverse? Well, I never have done. I do like the addition of a water gauge because this is a later model. You can see when the water's about to run out. And that is it. I'll leave the engine running in steam in slow motion and normal speed until the end of the video. As the last bit of water is evaporated, the engine runs more slowly and doesn't sound very healthy. That's because the normal water that lubricates it, which is from the wet steam, suddenly becomes very hot steam with no lubrication properties. As you can see, I've just blown out the fire, but it's best to not take any chances, so I held the unit under the kitchen tap. Now the fire's definitely out. These solid fuel tablets are better than they used to be, but I can't say that my kitchen smells very good. I finally did give it a bit more of a clean, but before that I just let it cool, sat on the workbench, and that, my friends, is the limit of the refurbishment on this old Mamod steam engine that I got from a friend ages ago. I keep telling myself that I don't really like these small steam toys, and furthermore I always burn my fingers on them, and they do have some sort of a charm, particularly this one. I never had one of these as a child. And that is it. This is as far as I want to refurbish this particular model. Stay safe, stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my main Steam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.